it. I'd like to see what Donna Brazile has to say. I will read it, but
Bernie Sanders has never complained about this to you before?
Oh, he's complained all the time.
Kasie, Senator Schumer didn't follow the 2016 presidential nominating process?
Follow it?
Boy, that's a dodge.
Oh, my God.
I was a little taken aback when the senator said that. And, you know, Bernie Sanders is in his leadership team. And if any of you, I mean, we have dramatically understated so far this morning the depth of anger among Bernie Sanders supporters. This was the thing they spent the most time and energy talking about at the Harvard Review after the election. They were still fighting with Hillary Clinton campaign officials about this. It is still driving how the party is evolving to this day. Tom Perez just cleaned house, basically, of a lot of Bernie Sanders supporters that were on the DNC's most powerful committees. Everyone is paying attention to that. I mean, this divide is going to drive the next election cycle. We talk so much on this show about all the problems Republicans are having with President Trump. The Democrats' House is a complete mess. It is in many ways on fire, and I think you're going to see that play out and really drive all of what is going to happen for them in 2020, and it may mean that they miss a chance to take on President Trump.
And Kasie, you had so many Democrats who were part of the establishment yesterday either do what Chuck Schumer did, which is like, oh, I don't know, I wasn't following it.
Head in the sand.
Or others saying, oh, we need to look ahead, we don't need to look behind. Bernie supporters weren't behind. You know, they're like, no, 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 we cannot move forward until we confront the fact, all of us together, that you guys rigged the process in 2016. How do we know you're not going to steal it from us again in 2020? So I just want to underline your interview with Chuck Schumer. How do Bernie supporters react when somebody like Chuck Schumer, who's always outspoken and blunt, says, oh, I didn't really follow the election. I don't really know.
They're not going to trust him. I mean, and that's the whole issue here. It's an issue of trust. And I mean, remember the convention, Debbie? That email, the DNC email hack came out right beforehand. There was a question about whether Debbie Wasserman Schultz was going to be allowed up on stage because the most excited half of the convention was there to see Bernie Sanders, who kind of walked in that triumphant and yet for a lot of his supporters a little bit of a grief-filled moment. I remember kind of trying to get Bernie Sanders to talk to me as he was pushing his way through crowds. People were falling all over each other to try to get to him. The cheer that went up Monday night at the convention, and then it all disappeared and was, the stage that was set was completely different, and nobody in the Democratic Party has forgotten that, and many of Bernie's supporters are going to say that they're not a member of this party. That's a huge problem for them.
And if you have any question about whether or not the DNC had its thumb on the scale, go back and read some of the emails that were leaked out last year. Very clearly in plain language, high-level DNC people talking to each other about building a narrative that Bernie's campaign is falling apart and pushing Hillary Clinton to the forefront. Kasie, thank you very much. We will, of course, be watching Kasie